Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today I'll be taking a look at Doram to see if the recent buffs will make it worth playing for mid to late game. There were two big buffs for physical Dorams for PvE. First is the Beast Storm Star card, which gives Savage Soul a 50% chance to cast Tornado Storm. You also get a 30% Savage Soul damage increase when in Tornado Storm. The 30% damage increase is significant, and also Tornado Storm's move buff is insane for your parties such as Novice Guardians, Saitama, and Rathgrassi, which can all benefit from a huge move speed boost. Since you can now proc this, it can be on the ground non-stop due to this card. In addition, the tier 5 upgrade of Fine Pink Foxgrass also provides a lower cooldown and cast delay for Lunatic Carrot Pound. You also get extra damage based on your remaining HP. Both factors boost your primary attack skills, which was much needed for this class. Previously, many people used Dagger Doram due to the lower cooldown for that attack. For early game, I think Doram is fantastic since it has lots of utility and does well even without a lot of deposits. That is because of the skill Life Soul that gives more damage based on your HP. I used to be a Doram main, but I switched over to Novice Guardian, then Saitama, and now Rathgrassi. When discussing Doram for PvE, I will compare it with those S tier classes, as I dust off my Doram to try it out in Legend instances. How well will this Doram do? Stay tuned to find out. First, let's start off with the advanced runes. Seafood Pun Rune is a great party buff since you can give extra damage to your party. Next is the Life Burst Rune, which is one of the mandatory runes for playing Doram. You want as high of a first line as possible to get the highest critical chance as possible. You also need to invest in Agi to increase its chance. Next is the Fresh Tuna Rune. The third line is a nice to have for self-heal, but isn't mandatory. Next is the Life Bond Star Rune. This is a nice to have since you can get great damage boost due to the extra chance to cast. Next is the Savage Assault Rune. I think a nice second line is ideal since the extra damage can now come from the Beast Storm Star card. Next is the Buggy Quick Star Rune. I personally prefer a higher second line since I want my Doram to move faster. Compared to other classes, getting the Life Burst Rune to play Doram is a pretty good deal. This is a S rune, so it's easier to get. It definitely has less rune requirements compared to Novice Guardian, Saitama, or Rathgrassi. Next, here are my skills. Here are my Witch skills. Here are my Spiritualist skills. Here are my Summoner skills. A noteworthy party skill is Catmint Powder for the attack and magic attack reduction. Next are Spirit Summoner skills. A noteworthy party skill is Meow Grass, which provides the Ignore defense and magic defense 30%, and two can exist at once. Next for Spirit Whisperer, all skills are maxed. A noteworthy party skill is Cat Transformation for reviving teammates. Also, as mentioned in the intro, Tornado Storm's move speed is fantastic for Novice Guardians, Saitama, and Rathgrassi since it can boost their damage. Next, for Prepare for Elite, I have Stoop, Soul Bead, Shrimp Swamp, Curled Beetle Charge, Meow Meow, Hiss, and Natural Rage. If you need BCC to attempt to play Doram, then try Smile.1. Smile.1 allows you to get discounted BCC and premiums for Ragnarok Mobile. They have been around for more than 8 years and have plenty of global business partners for other games too. I'll put a link in the description. Thanks to Smile.1 for sponsoring this video. Next, I'll show Doram in action. I will show my gear, stats, and adventure handbook at the end so you can see what I used to achieve this. First, I do some manual cast. I cast Meow Grass, then Catmint Powder, then a second Meow Grass, then Shrimp Pond. Finally, Lunatic Gunner. Then I target the Golem. I tried to get the Golem to stand in the Meow Grass, but I had to dodge stuff so he's not directly on it. The Tornado Storm proc is great since I don't have to cast it manually and it gives me much more mobility. I will periodically cast Meow Grass and Catmint Powder again. keep repeating this process, and the Lunatic Carrot Pound and Savage Soul is hitting for quite a bit of damage. One frustrating thing when playing Doram is if you get hit, the hit stun can be very annoying. Unless you have the Edgar Star card, sometimes when you get hit you won't be able to cast as efficiently. Just as I'm about to be petrified, I put down a Lunatic Gunner. That saves me at the end. It definitely wasn't easy, and with the same deposits, Wrathcracy and Saitama clear this much easier. When compared to my Novice Guardian, Doram does pretty well since I can convert and not have to deal with the crazy wind damage reduction for card Tornado. Next, I'll show you my stats. For attributes, I max Vitality, then balance between Agi and Dex. Agi will help you with the critical chance for Lunatic Carrot Pound and Savage Soul due to the Life Burst Rune. For health, I have 1.1 million HP, so pretty tanky. I have 19.8 thousand attack. For attributes, I've unlocked all the job classes for the bonuses. I have 58.5% penetration, 31.5% skill damage increase, 110.4% damage, 49.7% physical damage increase, 199% ignore defense. I tried to swap out my ignore defense offhand for other gear, but I found if Nailgrass isn't active on the ground, the damage will suffer a lot, so it doesn't hurt to have nearly 200% ignore defense even without relying on Meowgrass. Finally, I have 75% water damage. Next, for Adventure Handbook, I have 60% deposits and 2,995 attack. Next, here's my gear overview. I will go into more details soon, I just want to prove what I used for this run. Next, here's my Shadow Equipment, Oracle Mirror, and Ancient Relic. Now let's look into this in detail. For offhand, I use the Voodoo Blade with the 30% Ignore Defense random attribute. For card, I use the Alistar card for the damaged MVPs. Next, for armor, I use the other Shore Patrol with the 20% elemental damage random attribute. This helps a lot in legend instances where there is 50% elemental reduction or more for elements. Next, for card, I use the Poitata Star card for the damage to non-demi-humans. Next, I use Brave Warrior's Pauldron with the 12% skill damage random attribute. I use the Eclipse Star card for more HP. Next, for footgear, I use the Dragon Slayer War Boots with the 6% penetration random attribute. For card, I use the Beast Storm Star card for the buff to Savage Soul and chance to cast Tornado Storm. Next, for my first accessory, I use the Gold Earring for the penetration percentage random attribute and the raw attack. For card, I use the Moonlight Tendrillion Star card for the skill damage. For the next accessory, I use the same accessory and the same card. Next, for weapon, I use the plus 15 Fine Pink Foxgrass with the Vital Tier 5 upgrade for better Lunatic Carrot Pound and higher damage. For card, I use the Drake Star card and the Menorah Star card. Next, for head, I use the Homestead of Snowy Owl for the elemental damage and the extra damage to inferior elements. For card, I use the Machine Dragon Wing card for the damaged MVPs. Next, for face, I use the Winter Crown for the skill damage. For mouth, I use Ocean's Attachment for the MVP damage. For back, I use Goodwill Gift Box for the MVP damage. For tail, I use the Rock Bunny for the damaged MVP monsters. Next, for shadow equipment, I don't have a suitable offhand. Ideally, you could use the Rosa Chain for the ignore defense or the Helion Bracelet for the ranged attack. Next, for armor, I use God Blessings for the HP. For garment, I use White Duke's Manteau for the skill damage. For footgear, I use the St. Mary's Cloth Shoes for the attack percentage. Next, for my Oracle Mirror, I use the Combustible Knife for the penetration percentage. I use the Deathcat Armor for the stun resist for other PvE instances. Next, for Ancient Relic, I use Lord of Vayne. For this level of gear and deposits, I would expect it to clear Legend instances solo, and Doram was able to do that for floor 1 of Legend Isles. It definitely wasn't easy, and floor 2 was impossible. If you were to use Saitama Rathgrassi, you would definitely have more success, and you'd be able to clear more floors. I think the Doram DPS is just too low at the moment, and it would need even more buffs to be able to make it S tier. As it is right now, I would consider it A tier, as it can do decent damage and also provide the party with great buffs. I still think of Doram as a good intro class, and over time you can switch to another class like Rathgrassi or Novice Guardian to have a better mid to late game. However, I do appreciate the buffs that the devs gave them, and it definitely helps you with the early game. Do you play physical Doram for PvE? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I would recommend, and if you want more Doram videos, check out this playlist over here.